Feeling uninspired can look like feeling a little flatter than usual, feeling less excited about the stuff that you're usually really excited about, really struggling to motivate yourself to do things on your side projects or your main projects, or even just failing to get yourself out of the same routines that are keeping you in the rut. In this video, I want to talk about 7 ways to get yourself inspired again, but I also want to address the number 1 thing that you can do that will prolong your rut. For most people, ruts will last from a few weeks to a few months, but there is one thing that you can do to radically prolong them. Not accepting your reality as it is. Accept that you are resisting your routines. Accept that you are feeling flat. Accept that you are feeling uncreative. Acceptance is not approval, it's just acknowledging what is. And if you don't acknowledge your reality, how can you respond to it? Acceptance comes before change. Now, let's talk about 7 ways to get inspired again. Number 1, take inventory of your life. Feeling uninspired can be situational. Taking inventory is part of acceptance. It's getting clear on what might be causing or what might be contributing to you feeling uninspired. For example, in a Harvard study that looked at over 9,000 journal entries of 177 employees, they asked the employees to rate the amount of time pressure they felt on a daily basis. What they found consistently is if that rating was 7 or over, the employees' creativity, their inspiration, if you will, decrease by 45%. So if you're in a situation where you have a lot on your plate, feeling uninspired is a pretty standard response. Take inventory of your life by writing 3 lists. The first list is a list of what is not working for you. The second list is a list of what you can do about those things immediately. And the third list is a list of what you can consider doing long-term or ongoing about these things. For example, on your what's not working for me list, you might write feeling disconnected in my relationships. On your what can I do immediately list, you might write text my partner, ask them if we can do dinner, journal about my feelings and what it is that I need to talk to them about, and talk to them about it at dinner. On your long-term ongoing list, you might write set up a weekly relationship meeting, which you can find a resource for on the Intention app. Set a timer for yourself and write those 3 lists. The second way to get inspired is to create for someone else. Rubin, who is a music producer, has an exercise that he does with artists who are feeling creatively uninspired. When they're having a hard time writing new material for themselves, he gets them to write new material for someone else. He asks them to write the song that they wish they could see from their favorite artist or an artist that inspires them. What that helps to do is remove self-imposed boundaries. This activity was actually inspired by the Bee Gees, who wrote their song To Love Somebody for Otis Redding, but he passed away. So they actually ended up singing it and it turned out to be a very well-performing song. Once you're no longer creating for yourself or creating for your own benefit, you can get out of your own head. If you're in a rut creatively or in your work and you can't seem to find the inspiration to do your own thing, try working on someone else's thing. I could write a script for another productivity YouTuber. You might pick an artist that you love and create art in their style that you would love to see. There's the girl on TikTok who recreates brand logos. It's done satirically, but it's an example of this in practice. The next way to get inspired again is to look at whatever it is you are working on and ask yourself the question, who is going to benefit from my effort? It might be the one person who has followed you, who you know will love whatever it is you're doing. You might just be picturing the joy on your boss's face. It might be the confused customer from 3 weeks ago. Daniel Pink in his book When wrote, if you're feeling stuck in the middle of a project, picture one person who'll benefit from your efforts. Dedicating your work to that person will deepen your dedication to your task. I do this with Instagram. I know that when I watch someone's Instagram story that is inspiring, it can turn my whole day around. I will start taking action. I will do a little journal. I'll do a little meditation because I saw someone on Instagram and they pepped me up. When I'm motivating myself to post on Instagram story, I am trying to think of that one person who is going to benefit from my tiny, quick Instagram story post. Before I get into the next way to get inspired, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, one of the easiest, simplest ways to make beautiful websites. I use Squarespace to build my muchelleb website. I use it to build my Intention app website. And these are websites that have been built in like periods of hours, not days, not weeks. It's drag and drop, it's easy. On my website, I have a form for brands to contact me. I have a page filled with all of my favorite books and my favorite apps. When I did my recent Android launch for my app, it was just so easy to go in and update my website with new information as the launch was happening, because everything about Squarespace is so simple. One of my absolute favorite things about Squarespace, as someone who's been creating websites for a long time, is that there are no patches, plugins, upgrades. It does it all for you. The level of maintenance is low, and that makes me so happy. In the past, I have dealt with websites breaking. I've actually had a website hacked and plugins just going out of date because I wasn't constantly checking to see what needed to be updated. So this is an absolute dream in comparison. Squarespace is flexible for any kind of website that you want to build, whether you are a creator, you're an artist, you are a business owner, you have an e-commerce website, you can create it on Squarespace. Click the link in the description below, squarespace.com/MichelleB, and use MichelleB to get 10% off of your first purchase. Once again, squarespace.com/MichelleB, use the code MichelleB to get 10% off of your first purchase to create a beautiful, easy to maintain website. Another way to inspire yourself is to create rules. If we're on the same side of TikTok, you might have seen the girl that creates rules for her day. There are Saturday rules: must be up at 7, must do a hot girl walk, must do everything slowly. There are rules for going to the movies: must be dressed comfy, must bring a bag of M&Ms, must be topped off with a hot chocolate. On another note, animator Chuck Jones also created rules for his Roadrunner cartoons. No outside force can harm the coyote. No dialogue ever except for the Roadrunner must stay on the road. Chuck Jones was a big believer in strict limitations, or as he called them, disciplines, to foster creativity. He once said, "Everyone I've ever respected always uses restricted tools. The greatest comedians were the ones who wore the simplest costumes and worked in prescribed areas, like Chaplin." Rules that are of your own making, constraints that are of your own design are the funnest rules to make. To create inspiration in your days, create rules for your days. To create inspiration in your weeks, create rules for your weeks. To create inspiration in your work, create rules for your work. Wherever you are feeling uninspired, create a set of rules and try to adhere to them. The next rule to follow to get yourself inspired is 10 minutes a day, every day, that's all. If you have a goal or a project that you've been feeling uninspired by, commit to just 10 minutes of action every single day. No more and no less. That's important. No more because you want your momentum and your energy that you're building to roll into the next day and the next. No less because you need to spend enough time on the task to create momentum. You need to sink into that task. The amount of times that I've thought that I was totally unmotivated, had no creative energy left to give, only to sit down, spend 10 minutes on a task, and find all of that creative energy coming back is unbelievable. In the words of James Clear, motivation often comes after starting, not before. Action produces momentum. Commit yourself to the bare minimum and then see how that goes. The next way to get inspired again is to spend your time on a different creative project. In the book Tools of Titans, a book that features some of the most successful people in the world, Tim Ferriss found that a commonality between a lot of these successful people was a side obsession. These people would work intensely on goals and projects, and then to blow off steam, they would be making specialty coffee just for fun. If you are struggling to get inspired, start tapping into whatever side obsessions are there for you. Recently, I have been feeling uninspired, so I've actually started making a Halloween costume, which is something that I always used to love to do. If you followed my channel for a while, you would have seen a lot of Halloween DIY videos back in the day. I was in the trenches with my hot glue and my flowers, and I was putting my creative fuel into something that is so different to what I do for a job. It let my mind relax, it let me be creative in a way that didn't feel pressure filled, and it topped up my creative energy in other areas. The next way to get inspired again is to absorb new ways of thinking. My routine more recently has been getting up in the morning and spending 30 minutes reading a book. I'm reading new information and thoughts every single morning. I'm taking notes detailing how I think about those ideas, and I'm feeling more interested than I have in a while. Sometimes I get inspired by reading books that I've already read, and I've created a whole video about that that topic. Go on to whatever bookseller website you use, or the library website, or the documentary website that you follow, wherever it is that you go to get your media, and then get out a bunch of media that you know will inspire you. It could be books that you have already visited before that inspired you previously. It could be completely new books that are in a field of interest that you've wanted to explore for a while. Follow your curiosity. If you liked this video, you might like my video on little upgrades to make to your productivity routines, where I share some fresh new approaches to your productivity routines that you can apply to get more done in less time with less effort. I'll have that linked on the screen as well as down below. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you soon.